So a defeat to Nottingham Forest last night means West Ham are now 7 points from safety at the bottom of the Premier League. So how do they survive? We'll get into that shortly. But first, here's how things unfold at the London Stadium. West Ham's new forward, Tati Castellanos, was in from the start, just a day after arriving for just over £25 million from Lazio. The visitors had the first chance of the game. Nico Williams tried his luck from range. Look at this for a save from Alphonse Areola. That was incredible. West Ham took the lead, but it was a Forest player that put the ball into the net. Crescencio Somerville's corner came off Murillo's head. It went past Matt Sells. Forest came down the left again. It was Callum Hudson-Odoi's turn to have a go this time. But he hit the crossbar. In the second half, Somerville thought he'd got West Ham's second. But after a VAR intervention, offside was spotted in the build-up and the goal was chalked off, much to the dismay of West Ham and, of course, Nuno. And 4 minutes later, Forest equalised.
Will it go all the way in? It does! Dominguez turns away! And after the offside reprieve, Forest have levelled.
It got worse for West Ham as Areola flew out of his goal and appeared to take out Morgan Gibbs-White. The incident was checked by VAR.
After review, the goalkeeper fouls Nottingham Forest number 10. My final decision is penalty kick.
Gibbs-White took the penalty and scored, so Forest got all 3 points. It leaves West Ham 7 points behind and they've got a worse goal difference. Right, Darragh, it is looking bleak for West Ham. As an owner, what are your options now?
You've got a couple of options. You can still have the belief you can get busy in the window like they're doing and hope this manager turns it around. Are you going to plan B mode and go, look, I'm going to set a target. We lose the next couple of games. That's it. Plan B is we get rid of the manager. He's not doing the job. The fans are saying it's like watching paint dry with the style of football that he's playing. And we put someone in charge, a bit like United, maybe Noble or somebody from the academy till the end of the season. A lot of good young players at West Ham, and start working a plan for the championship, which we should win and come back up. So re-energise the club that way.
So look to, sort of medium term, I suppose.
Next couple of results.
Think of a manager who's going to get you back up from the championship, and for now, interim.
Interim right now. Start playing some of the younger players. You know, if you feel it's gone and the squad's gone and you've got no chance and you're 7 points adrift and you're really only chasing 1 or 2 clubs, it's not like you're chasing 4 or 5. So the odds are it's becoming more and more difficult. Their fixture list is starting to get very tricky when you start looking at it with the games they've just lost to Wolves and now obviously, to Forest last night. I'm going to throw this out there. It's a mad one. But if you do go down, go out and get a Russell Martin in there. He's won promotion from the Championship with Southampton, and his style of football will engage and the fans will love it at the London Stadium because he will play great football and get bums on seats, and that's the kind of thing that needs to happen. Look, Sullivan takes a lot of pelters as the owner of West Ham. I understand that. I appreciate owners are in the firing line for the mistakes and all the reasons that lead to a relegation. But he's always been there. He's always put money in. He's always spent a lot of money on players. They've been in the Championship before in the worst days and they've come back from it. So I wouldn't write West Ham off just yet. If they do go down, they'll be bouncing back with a record points total.
OK, well, for more on this now, we can speak to West Ham fan Brian Duffus. Right, Brian, just how frustrated were you with that last night?
Absolutely frustrated, guys. I mean, look, that was arguably our biggest game in the last 3 years since the Conference League, and we basically blew it. I mean, the fact of the matter is we had 4 games on paper which were deemed winnable or deemed must win when you look at the fact that we had Wolves, Forest, Fulham and also Brighton, and to obtain 1 point from those 4 games just shows you the situation we're in and where we've been all season.
Yeah. Do you think you're going down now?
Yeah, listen, I'm quite an optimistic fan, but for me, I think my optimism fizzled out from the Wolves game. Yesterday presented some hope and opportunity. The fact of the matter is that was one of our better performances last night, but we just haven't been good enough The squad is thin. It's been poor recruitment. Some of our key senior players are not performing. I mean, people talk about Bowen and Paqueta. Paqueta's had like 1 assist in 2 seasons, and that only came the other day. So I feel there's a lot of responsibility that I've got to be put on the players' situation. So for me, I feel we've got 1 foot firmly planted in the Championship.
So the owners obviously take a lot of stick, and rightly so, for a lot of the decisions. What power do you put on the manager? Because obviously I've watched a few of your games, particularly the Wolves one, the one last night, whatever else. Is this manager checked out? Have the players checked out with this manager? Should he be gone?
Yeah, look, I feel there's definitely something now. You look at Nuno's record, he's had 16 games, won 2, drawn 5, lost 9, I think, roughly like that. And I think, look, that on paper, that's not good enough. Nuno's actually, I think he's a good manager, he's a good coach. I feel he's been dealt a bad hand. I feel he, had to be encouraged to join the team. The board had a couple of meetings with him. I feel he didn't fancy it, and he had to be encouraged to join. But then when he's come in, I think he's then seen the size of the job. It's really, really big, and there's bits and pieces there in terms of you've got 3 different managers, sets of players there. The recruitment, the strategy's been terrible, and although the players and Nuno, there's probably an element of them checking out, I still point the fingers at the board, because I feel he's been dealt with a bad hand, and he's playing with a limited resources, but he hasn't managed to get a tune out of the players. I think that is fair to say.
But Nuno has got a club up from the Championship. So let's say you do go down, and you're not down yet, but let's say you do go down, why not stick with him? Or do you think that he wouldn't do it?
That's a great point. I mean, for me, I think it's embarrassing if we were to sack him. He's almost put himself in a situation where, that's probably the inevitability of what's going to happen. However, as you rightly pointed out, he's got Championship experience. He's brought a team from the Championship back up. I feel what we need and what we've lacked is some stability. And I actually would stick it out. Do you know what? I think no matter who you bring in, you could have Pep here. Pep would not be able to get a tune out of these players. He would not be able to do anything. We saw when Pep, the first time in his Premier League career, faced a rut last season, and it was hard for him to work out of it. That's the kind of situation West Ham are in now, where the players and everyone involved with the club are just in a rut and can't seem to get a tune out of anything. So
it sounds, Darragh, like Brian saying that nobody could. I mean, if Pep can't do it, West Ham, do you agree with that?
I think Brian's been polite about the manager. I think he's letting him off the hook there a little bit. 2 wins in 16. This guy's had 4 jobs in the Premier League. He's been sacked from every job. He's a counter-attacking manager. Do you want that manager in the Championship? A club the size of West Ham, if you are in the Championship, do you want to be going to, I don't know, I'm going to name some clubs in the Champ and playing counter-attacking football? I think you'd rather a progressive, forward, exciting manager who goes and wants to score 100 goals, put up 100 points and dominate in the Championship. You're not going to get that with this manager, my opinion.
Darragh, I don't disagree with you. I think the problem I have is whatever we do, whatever the next move is, it's a stopgap. It's something that's a short-term fix. Whether we get some of the options that you highlighted, there would literally be a short-term fix, because if we got promoted again, we'd be in the same situation where that level of manager or the style of play is not working, and it won't be deemed good enough. And I feel what we need is some stability where we can build off. Is it time for a change? Yeah, something definitely needs to change. But again, I think it's so easy for us to point fingers at the manager where, for us, everything revolves around David Sullivan and the decisions that have been made and how the club has been mismanaged over a period of time. This hasn't just been like a quick thing. This has been like a 3-year terminal illness for us.
Yeah. I get that, and I get the argument. I'm not here to defend David Sullivan. He's a big boy, can defend himself. My argument would always be, owners always get the flack, especially when things go bad. When you won in Europe a few seasons ago, were there people on Sky Sports ringing in saying, we want to give credit to David Sullivan for making the decision to bring back David Moyes, to bring these players in and bringing us European success for the first time in X amount of years? Probably not. David Moyes got all the credit. And equally now, I'm saying, now that you've won 2 and 16 under this manager, yes, we can focus on Sullivan, ownership and all the reasons where you are where you are. but maybe it's also down to the manager. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, fair point, Darragh, certainly. Okay, Brian, thank you.